Time now 5:44. Let's get over to meteorologist Hannah Gard, checking out that first alert.
Thanks, Rob. We're watching a flood threat that's going to start to materialize later today and into tomorrow, lasting through Thursday. So multiple rounds of storms that we have to watch for. The main threat is going to be heavy rain. We could see totals from 4 to 6 inches, with some areas higher than that. And then we have to watch for a severe weather threat as well, specifically today, with damaging winds, tornadoes, and hail all possible. But the flood watch is in effect through Thursday for the entire area, much of Louisiana and Mississippi, as these storms begin to push in later this afternoon into the evening. Right now, we're actually drying out. We saw some storms earlier this morning that kind of moved across the coastal areas, even some light rain across the South Shore, some sprinkles up to the north. Now we're seeing some clearer conditions with 60s and 70s out the door, warmer than we have been because we're starting to see a warm front moving across the region. In the afternoon, this will be the focal point if we see any isolated strong to severe storms, but the main system is over to the west where we have severe thunderstorm watches in effect. We've already seen storms this morning in places near Abilene. That's a very slow moving weather system. It's over Texas right now. It's going to take a while to actually get to us over the next couple of days. Here's the warm front. We see some storms north of our area by late morning, but I am noticing on the modeling we have a couple of isolated storms popping off of that warm front. We got to watch for that because with daytime heating, the moisture we have now, and a lift from the warm sector, we could see an isolated strong to severe storm in the afternoon hours. But the main threat will be the squall line that starts to come in. Timing on this, about 6 to 7, something to watch for the evening commute, especially North Shore and River Parish areas. That will get the storms first, but then moving in to the whole area by the time we get to about 10 to 11 this evening. We do have to watch the leading edge of that squall line for severe weather, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes, and potentially some hail. But once it gets into the area, it starts to deteriorate a bit, but we're still seeing pockets of heavy rain, and this stalls out. This is now 4 a.m. tomorrow. Reminder, this started to come in 6 to 7, so we're talking almost 12 hours of consistent rainfall, and that continues into the morning. Watching our morning commute on Wednesday, looks like we see heavy rainfall and storms, and then that does seem to start to taper off by the time we get to the late morning, early afternoon on Wednesday. We still could see some light rain, but I do think a lot of the storm activity will become coastal on Wednesday. We have to watch another round Thursday. The modeling not really picking up on this, but some of the long-range models are seeing some afternoon storms on Thursday because the cold front still will not have fully moved through. So we'll have to watch for an isolated flooding threat Thursday with potentially some stronger storms, but we'll see how that materializes as these storms come through. Rain potential. Here's those big streaks of purples and white, especially over to our west. The models have been really spiking the rain totals west of us. If we see that shift east at all, that's going to be a problem for us, but I do think there's going to be a chance for some bullseyes for us that get up to 8 inches of rain, potentially higher than that. Most of the area will be 4 to 6 inches, which is still going to cause flooding problems, especially through the day Wednesday as that rain is lingering. Here's the severe weather threat. We have a level 1 out of 5 risk. It's focused mainly north of Houston today with that tornado threat, but as the isolated storms pop up in the warm sector, we have to watch for some of those becoming stronger, and then the squall line itself as it moves from the west to the east. We could see some of that be severe weather along with the heavy rain threat. This morning, luckily, we are dry for your morning commute, no issues. We're seeing much warmer temperatures by about 10 to 15 degrees in many areas in the 60s, and those dew points are higher, so it's going to be muggier out the door than that nice feel that we had through the end of the weekend and the start of the week, guys. But that's what happens as the storms are approaching. We start to get all that moisture flooding back in. So got to keep a close eye on the isolated storm threat this afternoon. That's a good time to have the weather app handy or checking the radar because it's a conditional threat. We might not see much until the evening. But if one of those storms pops up,
you're certainly going to want to know.
Yeah. So we got to watch for that.
But this morning's commute should be good to go, no problems.
The morning is good
weather-wise.
Today. It's going to be tomorrow morning that we are watching an ongoing flooding threat.
All right. So commuters, get out there.